Welcome to Veterans Forum, a program by veterans, about veterans, and for veterans and their families. I'm your co-host, Bob West, with Ray Chattery and Jerry Devlin. Our goal is to provide important information on legislation, benefits, support, and activities for you and your family by interviewing leaders in the community. Ray, who do we have with us today?
Well, normally Jerry would be the introducee, and he's so eloquent of doing this, and we found out that he got stuck in Boston. He couldn't get a flight out.
Feel sorry for Boston, right?
So I will try to introduce our distinguished guest. Our guest tonight is G. Frederick Robinson, our mayor, and he was elected in April '98, re-elected in 2000, 2002, 2005, 2007, and most recently in November 2009. He had previously served on the City Council from '86 to '94. He's a retired major of the Prince George's County Police Department. Mayor Robinson earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from University of Maryland and has a master's degree in criminal justice from George Washington University. The mayor and his wife Jacqueline live here in Bowie since 1968. They are proud parents of Timothy, Amy, Sarah, and Christopher, and they have 4 grandchildren. Mayor Robinson has been very active in youth sports and recreation programs for over 20 years, where he has served as a coach and a game official for Boys and Girls Club program in soccer, baseball, basketball, and he is also a member of St. Edward's Catholic Church, the Knights of Columbus, the Bowie Elks, Disney Bell Post 66, the American Legion, and Lodge 89 of the Fraternal Order of Police. And most significantly, Fred is an Army veteran. He served in 1962 to 65 with the 101st Airborne Division. The mayor is council liaison to the Bowie Advisory Planning Board and the Public Safety Committee. And that's a very distinguished...
Is it time to go home now?
No, it's very distinguished. One thing I must say is that the mayor has been very, very supportive of us veterans, and we were very proud that you were able to be a guest with us today, Fred.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Ray and Bob. But, I mean, there's very few organizations that I feel more comfortable with and more engaged with than the veterans organizations in the city.
Well, we certainly like to have you here, Mayor. And tell us, as a veteran, why is Bowie such a great place to live?
Well, you know, we're home to a lot of veterans, as a matter of fact. You know, as you guys know better than most, we got the Legion, the DAV, the VFW, the
Marine Corps League.
And what?
Marine Corps League.
Oh, yeah, we couldn't forget the Marine Corps League, Ray. But Bowie, I think, it's a great family town. I tell people we're a very large, small town. We're waiting for the current census to be completed, and we're kind of assuming that with this census number, we'll be somewhere in the 58,000 to 60,000 people range. And when you stop to think about that bedroom community that Bill Levitt started expanding on back in the 60s, how it's really blossomed and ultimately a full-service city. We are, without a doubt, the strongest, the most diverse, most family-friendly community, I think, in the region. And I think that's why people migrate here. There's a lot of there's a skilled workforce here. We're bringing in more business and hopefully more job opportunities. It's just, I think it's just a great place to go. You know, our kids have grown up here. I've grown up here. And I think everywhere you go, you get that kind of sense that, you know, you're part of a community.
I think it's important that we need to highlight some of the positive things that really have happened in Bowie. Especially with the town center and the remodeling that's going on. You might want to tell us how that got started and so forth.
Okay, well, the town center was, I guess, really my first challenge as mayor. The county had approved and given grading permits to Simon Corporation with the approval to rebuild what would have been like a duplication of the old Annapolis Mall or the old Landover Mall. It was going to be a big box surrounded by oceans of asphalt. We had people in the community that didn't want any development there. We had people that, you know, there's many different opinions about this project, as you can imagine. What I learned very quickly and what I try to tell people is no build was not an option. People had a legal right to build. They were within the zoning ordinances, and they already had the grading permits to build this. But we were able to sit down with Simon Corporation and say, look, we'd like to have a different vision of this site. And sometimes you find you think you're a little smarter than you really are. What we did then is we put Simon Corporation, our planning staff, and went around and tried to get some of the most vocal critics of the process and put them all in a room together and took that old military approach. Says, you're not coming out of here until you have a better idea. And it took them a year. And in that year, we were working with the developer and the community. We came up with the concept of the Bowie Town Center. And, does it make everybody happy? Probably not. But is it light years ahead of what it was going to be? No question in my mind. And the nice thing about it from an economic development side, when that was open, it was 100% occupied. It is 100% occupied today. It's very viable. Some of the chain stores in there are the best performers in their market. So all in all, it's been pretty good. Now the downside, people say, well, we got too much traffic now, too much congestion. But it's like my role is to try to find a balance. And I think it's what we did there.
And yeah, from a shopping experience, it certainly is a nice, modern, eco-friendly area to be with. And not only that, the older places like Hilltop and so forth are undergoing renovation, and there's construction going on all over 450.
Well, the Free State was done about 2 years ago, and they made some major redevelopments on site. Excuse me. Hilltop is under major reconstruction now, redesign and reconstruction. Marketplace has a plan to reconstruct, but they've now been hung up in the financing condition that's affecting a lot of commercial development now. So they're probably at a bit of a standstill, and that's got some of us concerned about what could happen there in years to come. We've been with the shopping center owners, try to talk, see if what can we do to facilitate this? How can we work together to come up with something that we're all proud of? And that's what we're going to try to do.
Pointer Ridge Plaza is under the renovation process. They have a couple new stores down there now. We're hoping to get the grocery store down there again.
Yeah, I think when the new side of that opens up on the other side of Pointer Ridge Drive, that'll probably be a new food store anchor on that side. When Giant moved out of there and moved up to Collington, they said they would keep the Pointer Ridge store open for 5 years, which they did, and then they ultimately closed it. I guess the cost benefit.
Yeah, they closed that, and they closed the one on 97 because of Free State.
Well, the problem with the Giants planning model now, their business model is about 140,000 square feet. Both of those stores were in the 40,000 square foot range. So, they just found them too small for what they want to do. They measure productivity in terms of carts to go through and the amount of items that are in the carts. And so that's one of the ways they track, the viability of any given store.
So for veterans and their families, there's certainly a lot of shopping opportunities available to them. And housing, in comparison to most of the other areas around Washington, D.C., is very affordable too here. And we have a wide range of different kinds of housing units and price levels. Exactly.
We have entry-level homes and apartments. And we have some high-end, like we're raised always buying these multi-million-dollar houses and stuff. I can imagine, the old Yogi Berra story about Bill Levitt's probably spinning in his grave to know that we now have million-dollar houses in the city of Bowie that were built by Bill Levitt. But you're right. There is a good range of housing opportunities. Matter of fact, one of the things when I go out to business people and try to encourage them to consider bringing their businesses and locating here, I always get the same three questions. Tell me about public safety, tell me about housing opportunities, and tell me about the education system. Well, the first two we get around very well because we are a safe community. We have a good range of quality and affordable housing. And the challenge has always been that, unfortunately, sometimes the county school system doesn't have as high a reputation as it probably should have. And I know they're making great changes on that. The schools in Bowie are great. I was at Bowie High School last night and listening to all these athletes that were getting awards. But what was important to me is for every athlete that was getting an award, for their physical prowess, they were also being recognized for being on the honor roll, and they're all 3.5, 3.7